The next template that we're going to be working on is our pages template. The pages template handles individual static pages. These would be things like about or contact. You need this because it defines a layout for pages separate from posts. This page is similar to the single.html template, which is the template that controls individual blog posts, but page.html is typically simpler. It normally doesn't contain comments or categories. Let's go ahead and develop this page. I'll go into Appearance, Editor, and as you know, we currently only have the index.html template. We're going to now make a new template. So I'm going to click Add Template. This allows me to select what template I want to create. We'll be creating our pages template right now. When you pick the page template, you'll want to create whether you're creating a single template for all items or a specific one. We're just going to create a generic pages template for all pages. Now that you have this, you'll be able to choose a pattern. Because I want my pages template in many ways to be similar to index, I'm going to select this existing pattern. This will base the template off of my index.html. And as you can see, we have our header, our cover that we just created, we have a group with the query loop, and then we have our footer. What I'm going to do here is I'll get rid of the entire query loop. So I'm going to select query loop, and we'll just go ahead and delete that element. WordPress is going to let you know that if you do delete this, some of your pages and posts will not display content. We're going to click delete. And before we go ahead and build what is going to appear on this page, let's just save this template. If we go back out to WordPress, this is what a page looks like. And I did want to point out to you that we probably need to modify the index template because you can see that it's repeating the featured image twice, which isn't really necessary. We're going to take care of that now since we're going to be creating a new template that will ultimately control all of the basic pages. When I click refresh, you can see that all we're left with is our header, our cover, and our footer. Now what we want to do is we want to pull in actual content because keep in mind that our about page contains actual content. I'll go back to my template file, and inside of this group, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create after a new element. I'll select this element, which is currently right here. I'll type / and we'll type content. Content is going to simply pull in content from a page or a post. As you can see, by default, the content block is full width. This is why we need the group. We're just going to drag this into our group, which will contain that element inside of the grouped object. If we click Save Now, and we go back out to the front end portion of WordPress and refresh the page, you're going to see that now we have content on this page. So now we're able to see all of the content that is normally contained on this particular page. If we go to any of our other pages, such as our contact page, here's the content from that page. If we go to the recipe or blog page, it's going to give us this message that nothing was found. And that's because we have not yet told WordPress what kind of content we want on these pages. If we go to our home page now looks like this. So the home page has actually been updated too. Keep in mind that when you're working in WordPress, all of your pages by default are going to use the pages template. If we look at any of our pages, you can see that the template now shows pages as the controlling template file. Prior to making the pages template, all of these pages were using our index template. The index template is just the fallback if there's no other templates that match the criteria. Let's go ahead and look at one of our posts. Now, the only way we can really get to one of our posts currently is to add posts to our pages. I'll go into my recipe page. I'm going to click Edit. And as you can see, it just says nothing was found. And that's because currently there is no content on this particular page. There is a query loop that's built into this page. but it doesn't contain any content. There's also a photo blog post loop. These are two query loops. The reason that these things are here is when I initially copied over the original site that I used to populate all of the content for this site, this page used a query loop and the photo blog post loop. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get rid of these. I'll get rid of the separator and we'll start over from scratch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a query loop. I'm going to start blank, and what we'll do here is we'll just pick one of these generic modifiers. I'll pick title, date, and excerpt. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to modify what types of posts show up on this page by using our filter option. We'll filter by taxonomies, and the category that we want to show on this page is going to be recipes. So I'm going to select my recipe category. Now it will only show our recipe elements. Now that we have these here, I'm going to modify the query loop. So I'll go into query loop, into post template, and we'll have the title display. Then we're going to have the date, and then we're going to show a picture. So in between date and excerpt, I'm going to add an element, and this will be featured image. As you can see, it will now bring in the featured image. I'll save this, and if we go back to the front end and we visit our recipe page, you can see that it's going to pull in our recipes. Now currently I have no way to navigate to the recipes, so let's go back to recipes and let's make sure that both our featured image link to the post as well as the title links to the post. The other thing I'll do on this page is set a featured image. I'm going to save the page, and if we go back out to the front end and refresh, you're now going to see that we have our featured image and then we have our posts, and now we can click either the title or the featured image to go to the individual post. At this point, our post is not looking great. You can see that we have some overlap here, and there's some other issues with the formatting that we're going to need to adjust. The reason that posts look like this is because currently there is no template that controls our posts. So if we visit any of our posts, you can see that they're currently using the index template. Because there are no specific template files that control posts, they default to index. And clearly, index is not working in the way that we want, so we will need to make adjustments to this. We'll work on that in an upcoming lecture. But for right now, we've created a new template file for all of our default pages, and you can see that this is the way that the pages are displaying. It is worth mentioning that you're going to want to check your file at both small and large screen sizes. So go ahead and open your developer tools, toggle your device toolbar to be on so you can mimic what your page looks like at a small screen size, and ensure that everything is dialed in and appearing in the way that you want.